In this lesson, we're going to write slope-intercept equations given the slope and a point. So we've been learning that there are different forms of linear equations. One is a slope-intercept form where you're given the slope and the y-intercept. The point slope, which we're going to be talking about today, where you're given the slope and a coordinate or a point. And then we have the standard form, which we'll be talking about at a different time. So example 1, how do I graph an equation given the slope and a point? So first of all, we're given the point 2, 3, and then we're given the slope of 2. And then we need to write this in slope-intercept form. So first of all, let's go ahead and we're going to plot our point. And we've got the point 2, 3. Remember our x and then our y. So we're going to walk to the elevator, then go up and down. So I'm walking over 2 and up 3. Now, from that point, we're going to use the slope. We're going to go up 2 and over 1. So rise, Olive, run, up 2 and over 1. Remember, when we write equations in slope-intercept form, we write them in the y is equal to mx plus b. All right, and so we were already given the slope of 2, so we could plug in the 2. But what we didn't have when we're given a point is we didn't have the y-intercept. Now, when we graphed it on the line, notice that we now know what the y-intercept is, and we have a y-intercept then, a b, which is equal to -1. So now that we have the slope and now that we've got the y-intercept, we have enough information for us to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So we have y is equal to then 2x, because that's our slope, and then -1, because -1 is our y-intercept. Okay, for our second example, go ahead and plot the point -4, 3, and then our slope of -2, and pause the video and then come back and check your answer. Okay, so hopefully after you graphed it, that you found that the y-intercept here is -5, and we already knew our slope of -2, so then when we plug it into the slope-intercept equation, we have y is equal to -2x minus 5. Example 2, how do I write an equation in point-slope form given a slope and a point? All right, so we're going to be using a new equation, which is called the point-slope form. So what it basically entails is it's got a slope, which is our m, and then the x1 and the y1 are the coordinates from a point that is on the line. So the point-slope form used to write the equation of the line when given a point, the x1 and the y1, and the slope, which is the m, of the line. So let's go ahead and we're just going to write the formula here. It's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So write the equation in point-slope form. So notice that we're given this point and we're given the slope. But the point that we're given is just a point on the line and it's not the y-intercept. We know that it's not the y-intercept because it does not have the x-coordinate as 0. So when we have a point and a slope, we're going to use this formula right here in order to help us write our equation then eventually in slope-intercept form. So our first step here then is to write the equation in point-slope form. So we're going to write the equation using our formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And we're simply going to just plug in our points. So we have y minus our y1 is 3. Our slope is 2. We have x minus x1 is 2. And you're all done. This now has been written in point-slope form. Now, you'll never have to memorize this formula. You just need to know how to use it. So again, for number 2, you're given the point -4, 3, and it's very helpful to just label your points x1 and y1 so you know that where they're going to go. Now we're going to then plug it into the point-slope formula. You'll take y minus our y2, or I'm sorry, that should have been a 1. Our y minus 3 is equal to, we have a slope of -2, And then we have x. Now notice you have minus -4. Now we know that whenever you've got a minus and negative, that's going to become a positive. So we'll have negative 2 times x plus 4. So here is it written in point slope form. All right, so for number 3, y minus, all right, again, here's our x1, y1, and we're going to y minus then 15 is equal to our slope of negative 1/3 times x minus 9. All right, I'm going to pause the video, and you go ahead and do number 4, and then resume the video when you've got that done to see if you did it correctly. All right, so hopefully you have y plus 5 because it was minus a negative is equal to 3 the slope, and then x plus 2 because you had minus a negative there as well. All right, in this next example, we're going to write the point-slope equation in slope-intercept form. So notice that these are the same point-slope equations that we had previously written from the point and the slope in the previous example. Now we're simply going to rearrange them so that they are in slope-intercept form. Remember that our slope-intercept form is the y is equal to mx plus b. Basically, we're just going to solve for y. So let's go ahead, and when we solve for y, or solve any equation, remember the first step is that if you can simplify on either side, that you need to simplify. So I'm going to have just the y minus 3 is equal to, we'll distribute 2 times x, you get 2x. 2 times negative 2, you'll get minus 4. And now when you finish solving then to get this y all by itself, we're going to undo it by adding the 3. So y is equal to 2x minus 1. Now we are in slope-intercept form where the y is all by itself. So again, for number 2, we're simply rearranging. We're solving for y. So you have y minus 3 is equal to negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Now, we want the y all by itself, and because it's minusing, we're going to plus the 3. And you have y is equal to negative 2x, and then we'll have minus 5. All right, so our next one, don't get confused by these fractions. So we'll have our y minus 15 is equal to, well, you can have negative 1/3 x. And then remember, negative times a negative is a positive, and 1/3 of 9 is 3. So you're going to have plus 3. All right, so now we just have to simply put the y all by itself by adding the 15 here. And you know, y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 18 when it's in slope-intercept form. All right, you do the next one, and then pause the video and come back and check to see that you did it correctly. Okay, so you should have had y is equal to 3x plus 1. So you distributed the 3, and then you subtracted the 5 to get the y all by itself. All right, so now in our last example, we're going to be writing in slope-intercept form given the point and the slope. So again, I want you to notice that the point that you're given does not include the y-intercept. So when that happens, you need to use this point-slope form first before you can write it into slope-intercept form. So we're going to be first write it in this form, and then we'll go and write it in the slope-intercept form. So our main goal is to write it in the slope-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. And right now, the only part that we can fill in is the 6, which is our slope. So what we don't have then is our y-intercept. So we're going to plug it into the point-slope formula first. So we'll label our point x1, y1, and now we're going to use this point-slope formula. Y minus 1 is equal to our slope of 6 times x minus 3. Now, this is in point-slope form. So if it was asking you to write an equation in point-slope formula, this is it. You would stop right there, but we want the slope-intercept form. So we're going to then just, first of all, simplify. I'll have 6x, and then 6 times negative 3 is 18. And now I have to add the 1 to get the y all by itself. And you have y is equal to 6x minus 17. And now you have a slope and you have the y-intercept in slope-intercept form. All right, question number 2. You're given the point -4, -4. So let's label it x1, y1, and we have a slope of 1/2. All right, so again, we have the slope, but we don't have the y-intercept, so we're going to use the point slope form. Y, now I have minus -4, which becomes a plus 4, is equal to our slope of 1/2 times x, and now we have minus -4, which becomes a plus 4. And now if you're asked to write it in point slope form, this would be your answer, but we need to continue solving and getting the y all by itself. So 1/2 x, and then 1/2 of 4 is 2. So now we're going to subtract the 4 to isolate the y, get it all by itself. And now you have y is equal to 1/2 x minus 2. All right, again, we've got the point -6, 3, so we've got an x1 and a y1, and we've got a slope of -2. So again, we're plugging it in to the point slope formula before we can write it in slope-intercept form. So y minus our y1 is 3 is equal to our slope of -2 times x minus -6, so 2 negatives make a positive. Now that's in point slope form. Now we need to solve for y to get it into slope-intercept form. So y minus 3 is equal to -2x minus 12. Now we're going to add the 3. And we have y is equal to -2x minus 9. All right, for our last example, go ahead and I'd like for you to do this one on your own. And once you have it solved, or once you have the slope-intercept equation written, then resume the video and see if you did it correctly. All right, so once you solve for y, notice that your y-intercept, or your number without the variable, it canceled out to be 0. So you could certainly write y is equal to 3x plus 0, or even better, just write y is equal to 3x. So in this lesson, we took a look at how to solve, or to write equations given the slope and a point when you're not given the y-intercept.